Welcome back to the Focus Hoops 2021 WBBL Cup Final. I'm now joined by Leicester Riders forward Kate Oliver. Kate, thanks for joining us first of all. Obviously, a little bit of a different circumstance of heading into a final this year. So just how are preparations going early on in the week?
I mean, it is a little bit of a scramble, which has been the case for most of the games this season, but just trying to do as much as we can, as best as we can, getting in the gym where it's possible, getting people on the floor and just trying to, add a bit more film element and those sorts of things just to get those of our new players that haven't come across Sevenoaks before, just to get them familiar with the different players and their sets and things like that.
Yeah, and obviously from you're 9-0 in all competitions this year as a team. The front court being the same, obviously, with yourself, Christina, Ella, and Whitney. Just talk about how that familiarity with each other from last year has helped you start the year so well, especially on the defensive end of the floor.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly it makes a difference just having that camaraderie amongst ourselves that with the familiarity, as you said, running Jesper's specific defense as well, having that knowledge already and being able to assist the new players into getting into the system. It definitely makes things easier and certainly has allowed us to kind of progress with each game that we have played and build on that rather than sort of needing to start from scratch and work from there.
And obviously, as always, year to year, you make progressions for you, career high in steals, career high in blocks. So just talk about how the second year in Jesper's scheme has allowed you to be more comfortable and expand your presence on the defensive end even more than it was last year.
Yeah, I mean, we're always trying to work on our game and work on those individual elements to help contribute. And so the fact that we have managed to be in the gym since August last year and having that extra amount of time just to be on the court and to get in the gym and work on those things, it certainly helps, especially compared to, I know we're in a privileged situation compared to a lot of the other teams around the league where they've had a lot more restriction to gym access and just the sheer amount of time that they've had together as a team. The fact that we've had that extra time means that we've also got more time to work on our individual game as well.
And obviously, unique challenge with the final. Sevenoaks haven't played in 2 months. So how much you relying on what you've seen on film from early in the season versus how much you've sort of got from experience of playing them in before? Obviously, you've met in finals before, you've met in big games. Last year was the trophy semi-final where you beat them near enough a year ago to the game. So just talk about that balance of preparation for this Sevenoaks team.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting that, as I mentioned, that we have got a few new members on the team this year that have not had the chance to play against this Sevenoaks team yet. And this is always a massive matchup between the two teams every year. And I think that it's really cool that excitement that we as players that have played against them before and have had that competition is really infectious to the new players. They're so excited to play this final against Sevenoaks, which is really special because, they haven't seen them play this season and they don't know them as a team necessarily, only what we're able to tell them and show them on tape. So to get that buy-in and that energy surrounding the game, I think is really cool and makes it sort of that much more special for us coming up against them as well. But I think what you mentioned too, with us having a core group that are really familiar with each other, it's very much the same thing for Sevenoaks. They've got their core group that have played together for a lot of years, and I don't think that not having played since before Christmas is actually going to be that big of a detriment to them, because all respect to them, they work very well together, and I think that will show through on Friday.
And obviously, you've played Sevenoaks a lot yourself. You've had some success. You've had some struggles. So just talk about the challenge of Sevenoaks, especially when they go to their more smaller lineups. Sometimes they run even players like Janice or even Tiani can almost be a 5 and cover you at times. So just talk about the challenge of playing that Sevenoaks team and their defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what makes them such a competitive team in this league, is that they are so versatile and they are able to cover the floor in so many different ways. They can come out with a big or a small lineup, and it's going to be a challenge for whoever they come against. I think that a benefit for us this season is that with players kind of being in and out due to different restrictions and COVID isolations and all that sort of stuff, we've had the chance to mess around a bit with our lineup too. We had to go quite small ourselves in a couple of the more recent games that we've played. So I think that that's a benefit for us, having that experience this year, to have to kind of mess around with our lineup the same. I think it'll be a good challenge to see how we do end up matching up with each other on Friday.
And obviously, you don't want to give too many secrets away, but just talk about how your game has developed in terms of decision making, especially in situations from whether you go in the post, whether you pop out to perimeter, because obviously your game is so balanced that you score efficiently from inside and outside. So talk about how you're developing that aspect of your game and being more of an efficient scorer.
I think that with the league, I'm obviously quite a big player, like size-wise, in this league. And so just to be able to challenge myself, to be able to stretch the floor a little bit more and try and develop my game a little bit more mid-range, or trying to get myself to the basket rather than just relying on posting up on the block, is just a personal challenge for me to keep trying to get better. But also, one of the things I love playing for Jesper is that his offense really allows me to move around the floor. I'm not set just on the block, and I'm not set just in the trail spot. He really facilitates for all of his players to be able to do whatever it is that they can do. And then just add into that too, like having the teammates that I do around me, and their versatility on top of that allows for me to move around the court as well. So it all kind of comes together in that way.
And then sort of final one, just to wrap things up here. Obviously, the first final of the year. How important is it for your group to get the success of winning a trophy early on in the year, to be able to build on that, versus perhaps, if things don't go your way, using it as motivation to sort of kick on, knowing that you probably will see Sevenoaks in another final later in the year?
I think that given the uncertainty that this whole season has sort of been surrounded by, this having the opportunity at all to play a final this season is so great, and we're so lucky to have to be able to have gotten this far in the season with it just to still be running. And so to be able to play a final obviously is great, but then to be able to play Sevenoaks in a final, well, that just makes it even better. But in terms of sort of moving forward, it would certainly, be a great reward for us with all the work that we've been putting in. Like I said, we've been in since August. It's a very long preseason, and then a couple of games to then be able to play a final. So I think that it would just be a real representation of the work that we've managed to put in so far this season. And then, yeah, hopefully that it'll just be one of three potentially that, given the season can continue as it is, that hopefully we'll have this opportunity a couple more times.
Perfect. Well, best of luck on Friday in the cup final, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks.